Welcome back to Plugins Worth Plugging In. This is the weekly podcast where we discuss some plugins you probably haven't heard about and offer you some tips and techniques on WordPress. It's brought to you in part by WPTrainingVideos.com, and this is episode number 2 for the week of August 1st, 2011. Last week we covered security plugins, and this week we wanted to cover a little bit more along the lines of organization. If you've worked with WordPress for a while, and if your site gets bigger and bigger, or if you've worked with larger sites, especially sites that can be really page intensive, as opposed to a lot of blog posts, they've got a lot of pages, it can sometimes get a little unruly. WordPress has got some great features, and you can do searches and obviously find your pages that way. But there are some helpful plugins that we found that can help you for your backend, meaning everything within the dashboard when you're logged in. Let's take a look at the first one. Now, this one is called Admin Menu Tree Page View. It's kind of a long name, and don't worry, the links are all in the show notes, so you can find them there. Again, the name of this one is Admin Menu Tree Page View. It takes your pages and then will put them into a hierarchical view that you will always see in your WordPress dashboard because it's in the menu bar, which of course is that bar on the left-hand side. It's always visible, which is kind of nice. Whether you're in your comments section or if you're creating a post or even if you're editing a page, you can still see all of your pages on the left-hand side, which is really, really nice if you're trying to reference a certain name or maybe find a hierarchical structure so you can attach it to the right parent. Incredibly useful plugin and highly recommended. Now, the other feature about this, which we liked a lot, is that it can really help especially if you do a lot of child-parent relationships with your pages, or if you need to move the structure of your pages along. Everything is drag and drop. So you can take a page, click on it, move it up and down, move it within a parent, take it out of a parent, put it into another parent. It is incredibly easy to move pages. And this is as opposed to jumping into a quick update or in editing a particular page. You can also add pages as well as edit and view pages from little shortcuts that you'll find there as well. Now, there is a sibling to the Admin Menu Tree Page View plugin, and that is the CMS Tree Page View plugin. Now, CMS works a little differently, offers a lot of the same functionality, except instead of being placed within the admin bar, this is placed in the white space. So you still have access to that structure, you still have access to all their great tools, including the search, and you can still add pages and move pages and drag and drop, and you still retain all of the functionality within the same functionality that you had within the admin menu tree page view. But again, this one puts it in the white space. The other interesting feature about this particular plugin and why I actually use it in addition to the admin menu one is that CMS Tree Page View allows you to organize your posts as well. So now you will have to turn that on in the settings. It's not on by default, but you can turn that on in the settings to organize your posts. And you also have the option, which is interesting, you have the option of having a dashboard view. So this means when you first log into your dashboard, it will actually have two different modules, one that will show for your pages and one that will show for your posts. So you see those hierarchical structures there as well. Again, you can turn those off if you don't want those for whatever reason. Now let's talk about the front end. So this, of course, is the area that the visitors, your viewers, are going to see. There is one plugin we found. It's called Organize Series. And what this does, Organize Series actually works with the native taxonomy that's within WordPress, and it creates another, almost like categories or tags. But instead of using categories or tags, this plugin uses something called series. And you can then set up series. Now, what's nice about this is, let's say you were creating a series about how to use autoresponders or how to create niche sites or some other program or topic of instruction. You could set up a group of posts, place them in a series, and then one post would link to another post would link to another post. Now, you could also, of course, do this with categories if you wanted, but series was just a little nicer way of organizing it, made it a little more natural, I think, for the viewer and gave them a better experience, which is why I thought this plugin would be something to at least take a look at. Now, the other nice thing about this plugin is you can assign an image file to the series that you're on. For example, let's say that you're a writer and you write detective novels. You can then create a post, and let's say it's series, it's got 10 different posts in it or whatever it is. You could create an ebook cover place that image as the cover to this particular series. And then you can just tell your readers, hey, if you want to follow the adventures of, Detective Jones or whatever your character is, you can create various posts for that. They can just click on the series picture and it brings them to the latest adventures of, or whatever it is that you're working on teaching. So again, a really nice plugin, a really nice user interface, and that's really what we liked about it. So you can still do this without a plugin if you wanted. You could create pages and have a little bit more of a manual aspect to it. But we felt that this was something worth taking a look at, again, because it provided a better user experience and it was a really easy way to get it done. Now, there is another plugin that works with Organize Series. This one is called the Organize Series Publisher, and I think this is an important one to have and to know about as well, especially if you use Organize Series. With Organize Series Publisher, you can create a series of posts and then set them up so that they can publish in the future. The reason you want to use this plugin versus just setting that up within WordPress, as you probably know you can do already, if you do that with this particular series plugin, and let's say you say, okay, here's the first of 10-part series, you can't create all of the posts, because if you create, you should anyway, when you're creating post number 1 or the first in the series, that should have a link to the second in the series, and then that'll have a link to the third in the series. And if you just publish post number 1, you say, great, here's number 1, and then here's the link to number 2, but there is no number 2 because it hasn't been published yet, you're going to run into some issues. And Organized Series Publisher is a nice add-on that goes with Organized Series that addresses that. So I would definitely take a look at that. Both of these plugins are updated fairly regularly, again, within 30 days of the recording of this particular podcast, which makes them up to date and available for the most current version of WordPress, which again, at this point is 3.2.1. Finally, we found a great plugin that gives your site a really unique look. This plugin is called WordPress Post Tabs. And again, we'll have the links on the show notes. This plugin kind of works similar to, like, say if you go to a Best Buy and you click on, bestbuy.com, and you click on a particular product, you might see tabs where it says, here's the specifications of that product. Another tab that says description, another tab that says reviews. So you're within one page, but you've got different tabs that are changing kind of the little smaller pages within that main page. That's what WordPress Post Tabs does. It is phenomenal if you do review sites. It's incredible for that because you've got the different posts, but you can use it for a variety of options. So instead of bouncing people to different pages, they're staying on the same page. This is just rotating different aspects of a post through those tabs. We'll have a link to the plugin website as well, and when you go there, you can see this particular plugin in action. It's got a real nice fade in between the various tabs, just a real smooth interface, and we found it was fairly intuitive, so users would naturally click on those various tabs to find information. And again, they're not bouncing back and forth to various pages. They're on the same page, just seeing various aspects of your post. Thanks for listening. This has been episode number 2. Plugins to help you organize for the week of August 1st, 2011. We hope that we've brought to light at least 1 or 2 plugins that you haven't necessarily heard of before. If you happen to know of any great plugins, please feel free to leave a comment and let us know about them, and we can create future podcasts around them. If you are interested in additional WordPress training, please visit wptrainingvideos.com. Again, that's wptrainingvideos.com. It's a site that has over 30 different WordPress training videos and constantly adding each and every week. And it's completely free, so check it out. As always, please leave us comments, and positive reviews are always appreciated. We'll see you next week.